Cut the Game podcast with D Rich, man. You already know what's going on. Smash that like button right now if you're on YouTube. Follow me on all social media platforms at D Rich TV and smash that like button once again. Today, as you can see, we got 15-year NBA vet Kendrick Perkins, NBA champion, ESPN analyst. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. What up, D Rich? Hey man, look,
No,
big fan of yours, man. Appreciate you having me on. I wish I would have got a cut, but it's all good. We're gonna thug it out today.
I definitely appreciate you coming on. Now, we got to cut the games and get right to the chase. You know why we're here today. I was very surprised when I saw the articles that came out about your company Nilly that I feel like is trying to help student athletes. I was surprised to see ESPN, the platform that you work for, and other platforms put it on blast. And I feel like it was a lot of misinformation. So I wanted to get you on here to talk about it. Now, first of all, explain to the people what the company exactly is.
So Nilly is a company, right, that is there for the student athletes, right? To help them in the NIL space, right? And whether it's financial security, financial literacy, and maximize their future earnings, right? And
Right.
basically act. We're not an agent. We're not an agency. We're not that, right? We act in the place of holding colleges to what they promise these individuals, right? And that's what we act in place. We started up February 20th, 2024. That's when the company first had its official launch. And the CEO is a guy by the name of Chris Shorty, who has done a lot of great things in the space for us, when it comes working with, being on Wall Street for a long time, working with Merrill Lynch as a manager and things to that nature. And so, we tapped into a space where we wanted to provide, certain opportunities for the student athlete.
Right.
And that's when we came up and we sat down, we met, we had a conversation. Yes, he knows the guy that was an athlete and was placed in that situation. Now I wasn't able to earn NIL money, or they didn't have NIL when I came out in 2003, but that's how it came about.
So when I read the articles that people were putting out, they essentially said that it's basically a loan for players because in the hood where you grow up, if somebody don't got the money, they go to get an advance and then they're taxed on that advance at a later date. And that's essentially what the media was saying Nilly essentially is. Can you talk about that?
Well, first of all, it's not a loan, okay? It's not a loan. We don't ask for Social Security. We don't ask for, any of those things when it comes down to it. Let me tell you how this process works, D Rich. Okay, this process work well, we don't go out and we don't recruit. All right. People hear about Nilly, then they come to us. And it takes 4 to 7 days for an individual to even get an advance. And the reason being is because we have multiple conversations with them and their managers, their lawyers about nearly how it works. Now, what we do know is this, right? We do know when you look around the college space, you see a lot of frustrated, disgruntled athletes, right?
Right.
And they're frustrated. Why? Not because of their playing time, not because they're not putting up the numbers, because the broken promises, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
not getting paid what these colleges have promised them. And so, again, we come in place where we say, well, they come to us and they like, hey, Perk, we want to get down with Nilly, man. My son has been at this institution, this university for 6 months and still haven't gotten paid. Okay, cool. Well, what we're going to do is, what did they promise you? They promised you this? Okay, we're going to advance you this. We're going to act on your behalf, and we're going to go hold them accountable and tell them, hey, look, the student athlete, you can see it, they're taken care of. They could go out there and perform. They could take care of their families. We're going to hold you accountable in order to get us reimbursed back and pay us back for the colleges. We're never going after the athletes.
So essentially, when you think about the Matthew Sluka situation at UNLV, transferred from Holy Cross, got some promises allegedly from UNLV. They didn't fulfill them, so he's no longer a part of the team. So what you're saying is that if an athlete came and signed with Nilly, you guys would take care of that, so he doesn't have to worry about that behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, yeah, and we're in place, and then we're gonna go and hold the colleges accountable. And he's not the only player. You would be surprised how many athletes come to me on a day-to-day basis, saying, "Hey, man, can you look into this for us? Man, we still haven't got paid. This college has made these offers." They have a young lady right now that I'm speaking with her father. Her father reached out, very, very high profile athlete in college, that's projected to be a top 10 pick in the WNBA, second in the NCAA history in triple doubles behind Caitlin Clark. And her father is still having to send her money. I mean, he literally went on a rant on social media like a few days ago about the situation. And
Right.
that shouldn't happen, man. Colleges made in 2023 around about $15 billion.
Mm.
It's money that these athletes shouldn't have their problem. But if you don't understand it, if you don't understand how it works when it comes down to the collective space, right?
Right.
At these universities, they have to wait on alumni. They have to wait on donors to donate to fill that pot so they could go out and they could fund athletes. Well, think about this, D Rich. You got football team, you got the football team you got to take care of. You got men's basketball, women's basketball. Hell, if you want to go even deeper, you got baseball to some players. I mean, you got so many areas that one college has to take care of. They have to wait. And with them having to wait, guess what? The athletes got to wait. Well, these athletes, they're not supposed to wait, right? They got families they got to take care of, right? It's a lot of people depending on them. They need it for their financial security. And the one thing I think that they missed in this whole thing is that it's not, oh, we advance the money and then we gonna go collect it from the colleges. No, we actually are here, right? We're here to help you with the financial literacy, learn it. Do you know I've never been on Wall Street a day in my life until I actually started this company, Nilly. You know how
Right.
long, you know how long, you know how we wish we was at those tables to sit
Right.
down with those. The door is open for these athletes to learn this, right? They don't let you in these rooms often. They don't give up their secrets often. So with that being said, they have an opportunity that's there to sit down and learn how to make money, learn the ins and outs about their finances. So when they do go, if they do go with their professional career, they don't have to worry about anything of a financial advisor stealing money from them and things to that nature because they already know it.
Mm. So one of the tougher questions is this. Let's get real, Perk. What if
That's
you
what we do.
that's what we got to do. No choice to do it. If you get a player, let's say he signs with Nilly out of high school, and a lot of players don't live up to the hype. What if they don't earn the money back that was given to them up front due to they could get in some legal trouble or due to they just don't pan out to be the player that we thought they was going to be? How does that work out?
They don't have to pay it back. Nilly don't get paid back. If a player doesn't pan out to what they supposed to be, right? Or if a player gets injured, then Nilly takes the loss and don't get paid back. There's no way we could hold the colleges accountable. What we're banking on, right? What we're based on is that the athletes that come to us, first of all, you have to be a 3, 4, 5-star athlete, right? Your value has to be there. If you're a senior in high school and you're the top cornerback in the state of Georgia, okay, in the state of Georgia, and you're going into your senior year, and you come in, you say, "Hey, Perk, my son is the top cornerback. We go and do our due diligence." And I'm just throwing a number out there. We say, here goes $200,000, right? Say throughout the course of their senior year, cool, go out there, do what you do. You get on the campus and things don't work out if you go into the University of Memphis. I'm just throwing it out there. Things
Right.
don't work out as planned. You don't get on the field. Then guess what? We can't hold the colleges accountable, and we damn sure can't hold the athlete accountable. There's no other company that is going to be willing to take a risk like that. It's a high risk. It's a high risk, but it's also there. I'm in place to make sure that these student athletes are taken care of, not only just financially, but all across the board. And I think that was another key point that was missed out of there. If the athlete don't live up or don't make NIL money, guess what? We don't get paid back.
So in the article, it says something about you guys get their rights to their name for up to several years. You know what I'm saying? And you guys pay as much to 50K up front. How does that work as far as like their name, image, and likeness to you guys? How long do you guys get the opportunity to capitalize off that after they with
Well,
Nilly?
well, first is each athlete is different, right? But the max is 4 years. We have some contracts that are 2 years, some contracts that are 3 years, some contracts that are 4 years. That's the max, right? And
Right,
when it comes down to the NIL rights, it's based on, because if you're working with a company, like for example, in Base Path, or you're working with the collectives, there's no way for us to go and hold the colleges accountable if we don't have this in paperwork, right? Because again, we're not tied to their social security, D Rich. It's not anything to that nature. Like, we can't go after the students, and we won't go after the student athlete. So basically, what it is that you sign, it's like 3 to 4 years of, maybe two, depending on who you are. This has nothing to do with your professional career. If you projected to be a top pick in 3 years, this has nothing to do with that. Like we do, it's not based on that. But the only way for this to work is for us to have it on paper so that colleges could be able to pay back what we advance, is to have the NIL rights. Now that don't mean that they can't go out there and get other NIL deals. We would never stop that.
right,
Right. So let me tell you how the payment plan is structured when it comes down to this. If we advance, say if D Rich is going to, we advance you $200,000. Okay.
right.
And say a year later, you step foot on campus, you're a top receiver, and your first check is $100,000, right? $75,000 of that money goes to you. $25,000 of that money goes to the advance that we gave you for the $200,000. That makes sense? And
Yeah.
that's how the cycle works. So you still get your upfront money, and the athletes are still making good bread as they continue their collegiate, they careers in college. And I want to make this very known to you, very, very known to the public too. Think about this. When you think about when you think about um, why the transfer portal has been so full these past off seasons, right?
Right.
Why you think?
Money.
It's money. Okay?
Yeah.
It's money. So college is college now, you have to look at it, it's a business.
It's free
It's a
agency
business.
essentially.
Huh?
It's free agency essentially.
It is free agency, but it's a business now, right?
Right.
And so what I have to remind a lot of these parents, athletes, managers, the lawyers that's acting in place, is that when these college coaches, college scouts, whatever you want to call it, come into their living rooms and recruit them, yes, they want them because of their talent, but they understand that it's business. Soon as you step foot on campus, they're out recruiting the next person at your position. If you don't live up to what you're supposed to do at that position at that university, guess what?
On to the
They're
next.
gonna find somebody to replace you because it became business. So they're like, yeah, it's the family, it's the family. I'm like, stop saying that. Stop saying that. Once you start getting paid as an athlete, that family shit goes out the window. This is a business, and I want them to have that mindset, because I see a lot of athletes start, they be loyal to the fault, and it's not their fault. They just don't understand. Like, you're getting paid is getting treated like a business, and that's
Right.
why I respect all athletes that leave and go into the transfer portal, because if you're not getting paid and you are putting up numbers, then you should go somewhere else to get paid. It's right. It's only right.
So do you guys introduce these players to agents and maybe financial advisors when they over to you guys?
Man, you know what's crazy is that half of these individuals, these student athletes, they come in with their own agents, managers, financial advisors, and some of them know, some of them don't have a clue,
Right.
right? Some of them don't have a damn clue. And what we do is we offer to them, hey, look, we can point you in the right direction. We have a system set up in place so you can learn the financial literacy. We have a great team of people that we can introduce you to. We got multiple managers or several managers around that we work with. We know that's respected, and you can set up meetings. We're not going to point you in one direction. What we'll say is this, hey, you need to set up a call, talk to this group. You need to talk to this group. You need to talk to this group. When it comes down to being, far as your representation, but we can't force it on them. We can only offer it. Now, we had some athletes, take full advantage of it, man. Real talk. Some, they have one athlete, I can't say his name, but he signed up with Nilly, and man, the young man went out, with his money, and he went and bought box trucks, and now he's making about $6,500 a week on 2 box trucks, and that was just, he chose to keep the relationship and to ask questions and for us to look into things. So yeah, we offer it. That's why it's not just here going to advance in 24 hours, take it, and then we hold the college. No, 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 no. It's a learning process. It's 4 to 7 days before we even, get to that point.
So we talk about the transfer portal. Do you give advice to players who may be potentially, I don't know if you guys have gotten to this point yet, but let's say it's a player at a school and they're going to be a top pick, but they want to leave for money right now. And sometimes I feel like that can mess up the future of getting drafted, going to a situation that's not beneficial for you in college. Would you guys give them advice to stay or leave if you got potential to get to the NBA or NFL and make bread that way? Or,
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, I would definitely. I would step in. But it's just like the young man, the quarterback at UNLV that we started talking about, at the beginning of the show. You mentioned his name. Think about this for a second, D Rich. Think I wonder how NFL scouts are looking at him right now. Because the
yeah,
one thing people don't realize, you go through the draft process of any draft, they're gonna look at your talent. Yes, right. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is they want to question what your character is like,
right,
right? They go ask the training staff. They go ask, Joe Blow, who you don't even think that matter. What type of individual is this before we bring them in the locker room, right? This is what
right,
they do. It's unfair to that student athlete, that guy, the quarterback at UNLV. It's unfair to him that he even got to go through that, because they should have just fulfilled their obligations or what they told him they was going to do. But yes, I am going to offer advice to any student athlete, especially if it's a basketball player and I know that space. But if that basketball player is projected to go in the lottery, then I can't tell them to stay another year in college. No, you got to go fulfill your dreams. You right here, you projected to go in the lottery. I don't care
right.
what the circumstances are.
So, two players that you guys are partnered with, Dior Johnson and Mikey Williams, very
Yeah.
big in the basketball space. We all love them. They probably feel some type of way about me because I said some things about them before, and maybe they don't rock with me no more. But we all love Dior and Mikey, and I know a lot of people have given up on Dior and Mikey, and they probably don't look at them as marketable. But I want to commend you guys for partnering with them because I know that they are still marketable. Can you talk about that relationship that they have with you guys and them signing with you?
What D Rich, look, no one should be mad at you, right? You're doing what you do best, and that's speaking the truth, right? And a lot of people, and I tell a lot of young athletes this shit. When you sign up to become a public figure in the sports space, right?
Right,
And this is what you want to be. You have the good fame, the fortune and the fame. You have the good fame and you have the bad fame. if you do something wrong, people are going to call you out on it. It's how you bounce back from that, right? This is what you signed up for. Don't run from it, run to it, right? Embrace that shit. Give it, let it be fuel to you. So you didn't do nothing wrong. Nobody should be in their feelings because you spoke on a situation that happened. Here's the
Right.
thing. Mikey was dealing with his situation, right? Did he make a crazy? Did he make a mistake? Absolutely. Did it cost him? Absolutely. But he got a second chance. I still believe that Mikey, with his what is it, almost 4 million followers? It might be more than that, right? He got millions of followers. He got more followers than some of the NBA players, the majority of the NBA players in the league. His talent is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dior was labeled quote unquote a hothead, right? Labeled a hothead. Second chance. I believe they're going to make noise down there at UCL, right?
Right.
I'm not going to give up on them because again, this is what I signed up for. I signed up for, right? I'll be lying to you if I told you I know everything about the financial space. I do know one thing. I know something about the sports space, and I know how to handle the highs and the lows. I know what it feels like for people to turn their back on you. I know
Right.
what it feels like when everything is good, people is rocking with you. You know, they story just beginning. And they're going to turn a lot of heads down there at UCF. I believe they're going to put the world on notice. I believe they're going to be exciting to watch. I believe that they're going to recover from this. I believe that Dior, especially, is one of the most talented players in college. And he's going to show that. I believe that Michael Williams is going to show he's going to pick up right where he left off and more. Right now, I heard he's down there killing in practice. That's what I heard. You know what I mean? And so again, man, it's about the relationships. It's about, being there for them and building them up, not only just financially, but I'm a phone call away. If you need me, let's chop it up, right? Before you make a decision about anything, let's chop it up. And that's the thing that we want to do. Like we not even a year for as Nilly, for as our company. And man, since that article, I'm gonna tell you this. Since that article was written, right now, we have 168 athletes on the waiting list that have signed up, right? But we're not just rushing it, D Rich. We actually take our time on each athlete. I don't know if you saw it last night, but we just signed up and now we got a partnership with Antonio Gates Jr., right? We're working on now having Antonio Gates as being one of our ambassadors for Nilly for the football department, you know what I'm saying, and covering the football space. And I've been having so many athletes, football players, former basketball players reach out to me about being part of Nilly. And guess what? We're going to continue to grow, man, and people are going to continue to understand and they're going to get it. I'm going to tell you this real quick. In this next 6 to 9 months, the news that's going to be popping out, people going to be like, damn, the lawsuits that are coming about with these athletes suing these colleges, hey, hey.
You speak on the people that you have on the waiting list. I think that's the prime example of in some situations, all press is good press. Because some kids probably read that like, damn, like they doing that for student athletes, and they probably look at that like, damn, I need to go get in contact with Nilly because that seemed like something I need to be involved with. So I think that the article could play right in you guys' hands, honestly, to be honest with
Yeah, but again, and you're right, but again, we're not going out and recruiting athletes, but we're here. Man, do you like it, man, it's so many former college players that have reached out to me and was like, hey, Perk, this is long overdue. Because they was in those positions. And I'm talking about former players that probably just left that are like 2 or 3 years removed from college. You know what I mean? Because they understand what we're doing. They understand the structure of it. They lived in that moment. And again, man, I mean, it's unfortunate, man, that like, you know, the article when it get out there, the headline reads experts raise red flags about Kendrick Perkins Nilly company, right? And that's off the muscle. That's gonna be like, oh damn, let me check into this. And I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it because you're the only platform that I'm coming on to even speak on this situation. After that, I'm not talking about this shit no more. We're going to continue to move because none of the athletes that already signed up with Nilly and we have relationship with are complaining, at all.
Right.
Matter of fact, they're good. They're good.
Yeah. So another question that a lot of people were asking, due to the article, when players make it to the professional ranks, does it tap into their professional earnings?
No, it don't. It don't. It don't at all. That's why we structure and that's why we make sure we give a fair number when if we do advance a student athlete money, we give the right number so it is based on their college, right? It's a lot that goes into this. It's not here we go just give you a lump sum of money. No, it's a lot that goes into the whole research of the player. What we think how many years the player is gonna be in college. It's a lot that goes into it because once they go to the professional ranks, we have nothing else to do with them, right? But we still, if the advance is not fulfilled, right, and one of those athletes have a breakout year, they have a breakout year, and all of a sudden they got to go to the NFL or they got to go to the NBA, then guess what? That contract, we're still going to go hold that college accountable, not the individual. No, 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 no. You at this university, you
Right.
still owe this young man or young lady X, Y, and Z that needs to be paid to us, not the athlete.
So what if a kid transfers? Because the transfer portal is such a big thing. What if you going to a university for the money for the kid, but the kid ends up leaving the next year? How does that work?
And then what we do is we help negotiate when they get in the transfer portal or they transfer, then we negotiate with the next university.
Okay.
You see what I'm
So,
saying? So it's
so do the last university own or do the next one own?
well, it depends. So it's gonna depend. We're still gonna hold them accountable, the last university, but what we could do is becomes a negotiation period with the university they're transferring to. And this is why it's so key for people to realize that we're not just advancing quote unquote loaning in athletes money and say, oh yeah, this a high interest like pay it back type deal. No, like we're there with them for the long haul. Like we're gonna advise this athlete, hey, why are you leaving? Right? Is this school track record? Yes, they're saying that, but if they don't put it on paper, then you're taking a gamble. Even if they do put it on paper, hey, this school right here that you talking about leaving, they actually got your best interest and actually got big plans for you. Like it's a whole negotiation that we work hand in hand with the student athlete to make sure that everything, all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted.
When you woke up and you saw that article or whenever you saw it, some of the words that they were using in there made it seem like you were a monster. I mean, predatory practices. I never heard nothing like that. I'm like, I'm like, they tried to do you like Kendrick Drake, predatory practices. I'm like, what the hell is that? Do you feel some type of way about some of the people? I don't know if you know them personally that posted the articles. Do you know anybody personally?
No, I don't know him personally, right? I mean, obviously, it was a colleague of mine at ESPN that wrote the article. That's fine, right? Okay, you wanted your hit piece or whatever you wanted, you got it. You knew how to word it. And who are your experts, though, right? Who are your experts? And one thing I want you to realize is this, D. Rich. We're not here, the company Nilly, we're not here for colleges to like us. Now, we're not beefing with them, but we're not here for the universities to like us. We're here for the athlete. We don't want to be liked by the university because, again, we're holding the universities accountable. Now, we want to work with you, obviously, but we're not here to be liked by you. So when you go and ask the experts of these colleges how they feel about Nilly and my company, of course, they're not going to have anything good to say about it because we're not here for the colleges. We're here for the athletes. We're going to hold you accountable for your words. So those experts, professor such and such at this university and this guy that worked in this university, they're not going to like us. because we don't want to be liked by the colleges. We want to be loved by the athletes that we signed up, but we want to have, yeah, that relationship, but we don't want to be liked by the colleges. So that was expected.
Do you feel like the process that you guys have going, do you feel like it's going to last? Do you feel like it's sustainable?
I do. I do. I do. I do. I again, since that article was written, 168 athletes applied. My phone was blowing up. Now some was sending me the article, but others was like, "Hey, how can I get down with Nilly? When can we set up a call? When can we set up a Zoom? When can we talk?" That's when more and more situations start surfacing about what actually student athletes are going through at these colleges, right? This is why over the last 4 or 5 days, I've learned and heard the stories about so many lawsuits that are about to come out. And it's real.
Right. And
And you
just a
know
few
what? Let
weeks
me
ago.
say this to you. One thing, D Rich. One parent asked me before their kid signed up with Nilly. They asked me, they said, "Would you let your child do it?" I gave them a story. I said this. When we first launched Nilly, I had a Nilly, I got some gear came in, hoodie, fitted hat that had Nilly on it or whatever. Now I have 4 kids. I have 3 sons, 1 daughter. I have a 17-year-old, 13-year-old, and twins that are 7. And they asked me, they said, "Would you let your children be part of Nilly?" I said, well, let me explain something to you. When my package came in into the at the front door and I opened it up and I had my Nilly gear, my oldest son asked me, my oldest son, real talk, he asked me, he said, "Dad, what my gear at?" I said, "Man, you worrying about the wrong fucking thing. You need to be worrying about getting these stars behind your name so I can get you signed up with Nilly so you go start, living your life and get the hell up out of my pockets." And I was joking about
Right.
that part, the last part of it, but I was dead ass serious about you worrying about gear. You see, your dad is part of the NIL space for student athletes, a Nilly company, and you worrying about gear. No, your mind frame is wrong. And yes, I would have my kids sign up with Nilly. I would have someone take the load off of my child and me financially, and then them I don't have to deal with the colleges and worry about if my son or my daughter's gonna get paid from the colleges. No, yeah, I would in a heartbeat.
Now, when you were in high school, you went to the NBA due to financial reasons. It's a no-brainer. Now these kids can get paid. Do you think this is a good thing for college sports in general? Just the NIL and all that? Or do you think it needs some fixing?
But I mean, it's new to everybody. To be honest with you, D. Rich, and it does need some more structure to it, right? I ain't gonna lie. I think in the defense for colleges, they're figuring it out. Everyone is figuring how to do this, right? Like, everyone is figuring how can we have more of a structured plan, right? Like, I believe right now it's a pending case that's going on, right, with the Supreme Court and all this stuff about figuring out some things. Everyone is figuring it out. This is what I will say. Kevin Garnett told me something as a professional, and I was young, as my teammate, KG. He said, "Perk, I always watch these young and upcoming all-stars, superstars around the league." Now, this is when we were playing, same team, you know. And he said, "I always watch to see what their performance look like before they get the big bag, and I want to see what their performance look like after they get the big bag. Or they still go bring that same passion, that still want, that still that same kill mentality." And it's the same thing with the athletes, right? In college. Like, I think a lot of coaches, their fear is, a lot of guys start getting that big bag. A lot of these athletes get that bag and they get comfortable. Or is it gonna have the same production? right? And I always overemphasize to all these young athletes that I talk to is that, man, this is just the start to what you could go get. Like you talking about, a couple $100,000 or even some of them $1 million. Like, nah, like you can go touch 8 figures. You can go, like, this is just the start. And I have to tell them that. I have to tell them that to make sure they keep that hunger. But I mean, I still see guys out there that's performing at a high level that's getting paid
Right.
in college. But
Mm-hmm.
it should be a worry. It's just like anything. Like, are you gonna get comfortable or do you want more?
When I get paid on Fridays, the food that's in the refrigerator don't look as good because I want something else. I think that's just a natural instinct. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I got paid. I don't want that ground turkey and that rice today. I want to go have a steak or something like that. So I can only imagine being a kid and having hundreds of thousands of dollars in your pocket. I know it's very important to who your background is, your parents, keeping you on level headed, man. Like, I feel like
You
that's gonna
got
play a
to.
big part.
Is you
Got
right,
to.
be rich, and you gotta have those people in your corner. And then let me say this too, and I say this with all respect because a lot of parents and guardians, they don't mean no harm, but if you don't know anything about this space, and I'm not even talking about my Nilly company no more, I'm just talking about overall. Step back and be mama, be daddy, be grandma, auntie, whoever you are, whatever role you play in that child life, continue to play that role, right? Make sure you do your due diligence to go put somebody in place that's gonna understand and how to work and understand the business of this. I see so many, like, parents now are all of a sudden becoming managers. You don't
Mm-hmm.
fucking know, man. And it's not no knock. I know you want the best interest for your child, as you should, but you got to put somebody in place to handle this because you don't know. You didn't grow up to know this. You know
And
what I'm saying?
one thing I noticed, like just me being around youth sports for years, sometimes parents can have a guaranteed NBA lottery pick and they mess it up by shopping them around too much, doing too much, not letting people coach their kid, not letting people handle things behind the scenes. They want to be involved with every single thing and they mess it up for the kid in the future because all these scouts and stuff paying attention to that. And then when these kids get to college, they haven't been coached by anybody else or don't know how to adapt to certain situations because their parents have been sheltering them. I think you was exactly right.
Man, you preaching. You know what? My 13-year-old son, nah, I believe his name Kingston. I believe he's going to have a future. I really do. I believe he's going to have a future even either in the basketball space or the football space. The little motherfucker could go. And I'm not just saying it because he's my son. He's in class 2030. Okay? I don't even know if he's going to even like sports by the time he's a senior, right?
Right.
I don't even care. But as of right now, he loves them and he's pretty damn good at it. I took my son out of AAU basketball last summer. We took a break. We took a break. I had schools, coaches from different teams. Man, let me fly Kingston out. Man, let them come rock. No, 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 no. We got too much shit we got to clean up in this AAU space because I was coaching in the AAU space. I'm coaching in the AAU space. I'm coaching some 10, 11-year-olds, and I'm watching us win tournaments, and I'm watching parents have attitudes because their son wasn't the primary ball handler, and he wasn't bringing the ball up the floor, and he didn't have 20 points this game. And I'm like, just play 6 games in a weekend. Two out of the 6 games, your son was the standout. Like, I was just like, you know what? This is starting to disturb my peace. It's disturbing my son's peace. And then I
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with a lot of shit that goes on in that space. D Rich, I don't agree with ranking 9, 10, 11, 12 year olds. They put my sons on them rankings and oh, Kingston Perkins, he's top this, top 10. You know what I go do? I go comment right up under this shit. Take my son off this fucking list.
Right.
Cause you give it, that's false hope, bro, and that's not real. Like,
Mm-hmm.
nobody gives a fuck. We don't know. And I tell a lot of these parents all the time, the game of basketball has went global. Okay,
Global.
they got some motherfuckers in Africa that's 6'8", 6'9", that's over there hungry, that we gonna see pop up on the scene. They 9th, 10th, and 11th grade season. Over there, they got some young fellas in Europe that's ready to come and take a motherfucking lunch money. So again, don't put your kid in that position where they get caught up in this internet and this ranking stuff, because in 3 or 4 years, that shit ain't gonna even matter. We're gonna see a totally different landscape and new motherfuckers coming in, man. And that's just real talk.
So one of my big rants, some people agree, some people disagree. I say basketball is no longer a trench baby sport, because what you just explained, we got overseas players coming and the game is so monopolized now. If you don't got no bread for training, it's kind of like a record label. You got to have people behind you, money behind you. You got to get to where you need to go. If you don't have that, the chances of you making it was already slim. Now it's even slimmer. Do you think that basketball is still made for people that grew up in poverty, Kendrick?
Man.
Yeah. I mean, because you look at the NBA draft, it's not the same players that was getting drafted in the 90s. These kids are coming from a different type of money, it seemed like.
It is, in a different type of training. I'm telling you right now, listen, man, I live in the Woodlands, Texas, okay? Woodlands, right in Texas, right outside of Houston, about 35 miles from downtown Houston. I'm telling you right now, the level of training that I'm seeing from these individuals just around my area, and like, I'm talking about white athletes training in basketball. I'm talking about, but putting in that work. I'm walking into these gyms, and these motherfuckers are in here at 5:36 in the morning before school. And I'm talking about working on stuff that I was doing when I was playing for the Celtics and the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's how advanced the training is now. Like, me growing up, bro, I ain't gonna even lie. In my weight room at Clifton J. Ozan High School down in Beaumont, Texas, man, we had a bench press and a super cat. That's it. Now I'm seeing athletes train split squats. I see athletes working on their glutes. I see athletes working on, balance control and, one leg curl press. And I'm like, man, this is next level. This is next level. But what happened is, when it went global, again, when the game went global, see, they over there training right now in Europe. They got some other little Lucas that's on the way. You know what I'm saying? They didn't turn pro at 14, 15. They in the trenches. Victor went beyond, but they got some more of them on the way. You know what I mean? So, yes, we do. We are playing catch up, right? Like, it's no more like we used to go to the park, dog. D-Rich, we used to go to the park. Well, we used to get our ass buzzed by a guy, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to my guy, but his name Cadillac Red. Man, Cadillac Red used to pull up, drinking a 40, put his 40 by the goalpost and bust everybody's ass at the park. And we playing sideline. It ain't like that no more. It's a different type of training.
Yeah, it's different. It's different. Do you think that we have to change our structure as far as AAU, high school basketball to, I'm not going to say catch up with Europe. I mean, but damn, 15, 20 years from now, I don't know how it's going to be looking as far as to differentiate, the players from America and the players from Europe. Do you think we got to change the way we do things?
I think so. I'm going to give you an example. One, again, going back to my 13-year-old son, Kingston. One of his teammates, dad took a golden a job opportunity overseas in the Netherlands, okay? And he called me. He said, "Perk, man, we so behind." And I said, "Well, what you mean?" He said, "Man, we traveling every damn weekend, going to these AAU tournaments. Man, Dax play one time a week. One time a week. They play 4 10-minute quarters, one time a week, and they train the rest of the week. But they training is at a whole nother level." He was like, "Bro, Dax getting more out of this than go and play all weekend long. And when I saw Dax, now mind you, at the time, Dax wasn't nothing but 12 years old playing with the 16-year-olds over there because he could go. And I was like, oh, damn, that's the structure. So I took my youngest, all my youngest. I'm like, forget all this AAU stuff this summer. We go train. We go
Right.
train. We go be in this lab. We go sacrifice this summer. We go get in the lab. If people don't start doing that, man, we're going to continue to get left behind. Stop chasing these AAU tournaments. Stop listening to these coaches who want you to go play every fucking weekend for their own self benefit. Their own self benefit of them saying, oh, yeah, I won the trophy. We got the trophy. Let's take a picture. First place. Let me go in the coaches group message and brag. Nah, man, that ain't helping your kid get better. When your kid don't even know what DHO stand for and they 14 years old. Or your kid don't even know how to set a proper screen. Or your kid don't know how to do certain things, but you still gonna run. Oh yeah, go run to these tournaments and go. Nah, man, and I'm only gonna waste my breath for so long, telling you, hey man, I wouldn't do that if I was you. I'd get in that lab. But if you don't listen, you still want to go chase tournaments and trophies. Go ahead.
And I'm gonna say this: a couple more questions for you before we get off. When I was around youth basketball heavy, I noticed that the cream always rises to the top. And the best player in middle school, he might not be the best player by the time high school is over. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. I know you know Bryce Griggs. When he was in middle school, it wasn't nobody that could mess with Bryce Griggs. Even when he got to high school, he was a dog. But it was a player on his team named Keontae George who got drafted to the Utah Jazz. And people would always tell me, I think he's gonna end up being better than Bryce. And it wasn't a right now thing, it was a future thing. And that right there told me, damn, today's price is not always tomorrow's price. It's things gonna change, and it changed fast.
It does, bro. And I know Bryce. I know Bryce really well. And he was that guy. Bryce was he was that guy that the line was wrapped around the corner to go watch him play. Where James Harden was pulling up at his game to watch him play. He was that dude. And D Rich, look, fuck 7th, 8th grade, man, I was 6'4", 6'5" in the 7th grade, 6'6", 6'7" in the 8th grade. I wasn't even ranked in the country. Man, I started traveling and I played with the Houston Hoops going into my freshman season, and all of a sudden I got put on the radar. I went from being, oh, he's trash, to all of a sudden a top 30 player. Then at one point I was number one in our class over LeBron. It was for about 2 months, but damn it, I was number one for about 2 months. You know what I'm saying? But I never fell outside that top 5, top 6 range. But I know, man, the cream is always going to rise to the top. And you know what I started doing with all my youngins? I started challenging them. Oh, no, y'all, you in the 10th grade, you going to play with these seniors. You know what I'm saying? I need you to come home crying. I need to see some tears on your face, right? Everything don't need to be joyful. I need you to go get it. I need you to see what adversity, going against guys that's bigger, stronger, physical, more skilled than you, what you go do?
Can't do nothing.
Yeah, man, it's real, man. But the only thing we could do is, man, continue to keep trying to preach to the ones that listen. Shout out to them. To the ones that don't, good luck to you. Hope that your way do work. But going back real quick to the Nilly part of it, bro, on some real stuff. Go ask the athletes how they feel about Nilly, the ones that then signed up. Go ask the athletes what we provide for them, and what we do for them outside of the advancement based on what the colleges have promised them, and us going act on their behalf as somewhat lawyers to go hold the colleges accountable. Man, it's other areas, man. All these kids, these families, they have my personal cell. So they could call me and ask me questions, whether it's even when it's not about finances, when it's about anything that they may be going through. If you need me to reach out to a coach and talk to them and find out the real, I'm going to watch their games. And we're expanding to the point of right now we got the group. We developing a team where we can make sure the camps, each individual that signed up, the camps and You know, whatever they have, charity events is sponsored by Nilly, things to that. Like, we're really involved. So it's not like, oh yeah, Perk praying. Like, I ain't praying on shit. Like, stop saying that. I'm not praying on nothing. I'm not praying on nothing. I just know that it's a need for this space for athletes. If it wasn't, otherwise they wouldn't be going through the stuff that they going through, fighting to get their money from colleges.
Yeah, man, I definitely appreciate you, coming on. And one more question before you get off. When you look at high school basketball today, I know you keep up with it, the rankings and everything. Who do you look at and say that's the kid that's going to be a future star in the NBA, and I would love to start a franchise with him? Cooper Flagg, AJ Dembasa, Cameron Boozer. It's some real good players, but who would you take?
Man, shit. I look, Cooper Flagg's supposed to be a senior. Okay, that motherfucker cold. That motherfucker cold. Yeah. Cooper Flagg like that. Hey, D Rich, he's nice, bro. That's who I'm starting the franchise with. Let me tell you. Yes, do he have the skill set? Hell yeah. He got the fucking dog in him. You can't teach that. That tenacity he plays with, the hunger, you can't teach that. Like, you can't, it's in him. You know what? One of my coaches, man, one of my one of my day ones that I grew up in the sandbox with. His name is Coach Brandon Chappelle, assistant coach for the University of Texas, right? And he told me when Cooper Flagg, this was last year, he went to Cooper Flagg High School just to watch them practice. He said, bro, at the end of practice, they was running suicide. He was the first person down and back every single time and talking shit to others while he was running. Man, you can't teach that. That's what I want to build my franchise around. You see what I'm saying? I want a person I know I could trust. I know that's going to be a dog that's going to continue to want to grow. And every single night he want to play against the best to show in that conversation as the best athlete. Every time he step on the floor, he feel like he got something to prove.
Yeah. Cooper.
Now I'm gonna tell you real quick. That Trey Johnson kid down there at the University of Texas, oh, he's a problem. He's gonna be a problem. People sleeping on him, but he's a problem.
And I'm gonna name you one more player, Darren Peterson. I want you to check him out. Class of 2025 guard, 6'5", can do everything on the floor. He ranked number 3 in the class of 2025. But when I tell you, I think he pro ready right now, I'm not exaggerating. He a dog, and I feel like a lot of people sleeping on him too. I want you to stay in touch with him. But I definitely appreciate you coming on. And if it's ever a situation where some of your Nilly athletes can come on and talk, where they got something that they want to start, or just come on and talk about Nilly in general, I would love for them to come on and do that.
Well, D Rich, I'm gonna tell you, we got to bridge that gap because I don't like the animosity. You know what I'm saying? You my boy. You know what I'm saying? I got much love and respect because you speak the truth. You speak how you feel. It's genuine. I got to bridge that gap with you and Mikey. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're going to let the season go, but y'all got to have a conversation on live, you know what I'm saying, and go ahead and have a grown man conversation about things. And Mikey got to understand, man, this is part of it. You know, we got to, certain situations you got to call out. I can't be on TV and not see something and not call it out. You know what I mean? And then that's what a lot of my good friends and guys that I played with, they had to understand that, man. You know what I'm saying? They had to understand, man. Look, I'm gonna be the first person to give you flowers, but I'm gonna also be the first person to tell you ain't doing a damn thing. You ain't did shit.
Yeah, that's a tough situation when you got a platform and everybody looks at you as the guy to come on there and speak the truth, and they sending you stuff. They will not trust you anymore if you speak about everything else, but you don't speak about a situation just because you close to somebody or you feel like it may alter the relationship. And that was a space that I found myself in, and I don't regret it, but I do want to bridge that gap. And I would definitely like to have Mikey on the show because I see he doing this thing right now in the media and stuff like that. So I would definitely love to have him on and just talk about that. Because me and him go way back, like for real. So yeah, so like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate it, D Rich. Thanks for having me, man. Keep up the great work, brother.
No problem. Thank you.